What up? What up? It's Wednesday and we're back, Board TV. We're alive. We're kicking. Passes are maybe in our wallets. Not mine yet because I taught all day. So boo hoo. I couldn't, I guess, flip out of it. But let's be real. Who takes profits, right? We hold these things to zero, baby.
Right to the ground, man.
I wasn't going to sell it anyways. Like, I'm like, oh, damn, I couldn't sell that for 7 ETH right off the top. I would not have sold it. Like, I just know I wouldn't have. I'd be sitting here having the same conversation. What's good, dudes? How's your week been?
Dude, pretty hectic. I mean, honestly, the curveball yesterday, I know Bryce was a little upset. Refreshing the MDVMM website.
An hour and 45 minutes straight. I'm not even kidding.
You have a problem, bro. Serious
problem. On the phone with Will. We were just sitting there talking about it, trying to strategize like, oh yeah, we're going to get a pass and insta dump it and sell a mutant. And then, mutants are going to tank. And then nope, tomorrow.
Which they didn't tank as bad as I thought they were. I mean,
I was a little late to pulling the trigger and ended up not dumping the mutant. So very happy with that now.
It was totally insane. Like right up until like the very end of the day, it almost seemed like they were going to keep like the bids on Blur were going to continue to sit there. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is fantastic. I'm about to claim these passes. And I was refreshing the website because I was like, that's where the update hits first before the tweet goes out. And so I was like sitting there refreshing the page. I'm like, sweet. I'm going to literally be the first to claim these passes. I'm going to turn around and then dump them onto Blur bids and, pick my mutants back up at a cheaper price. But yeah, anyways.
And all the bids, they didn't get withdrawn until the announcement that it was delayed, right? Like it was as soon as the announcement that it was like, hey, we're going to have to push it back to tomorrow. That's when all the bids just like vanished.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe some bot action going on there, but
I mean, anyway, we would assume, right? Like, I would assume. I think bots are everywhere. They're like running the world. Are you a bot, Will? That's the real question.
Only from 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's true. No truer words have been said, bro. So we're gonna jump in to our guest speakers. We got many. It's a whole freaking party up in here. And we're excited to talk to the team with Paraspace. So without further ado, let's welcome on. I mean, we got everybody. We got a full screen. Yes, that's right. There are 7 of us on here, and that is the most we have ever had. We have broken our record for most people on Board TV. Thumbs up to all of you. Welcome, friends from Paraspace. How y'all doing?
Good. How's it going?
Hey,
living the dream.
Everybody doing?
Hey. Hanging. We got man, we're in the acid land. We've got lots of orange happening, which we're not mad about. We're floating in the Paraspace logo, and then we got like me, the normal human background. I just turned my lights off because the room's so damn messy. It's like just hit the lights and like throw a little spotlight on yourself. Nobody can see what's behind you, which is probably a good thing. So
I mean, it's a vibe,
It is. It is.
I like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. Definitely vibing for sure. So I guess if y'all want to go, just I don't know what order. How you can rock, paper, scissors it, but can you just tell us just who you are and kind of what you do with Paraspace?
Yeah.
I mean, I can start since I'm over here, I guess.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm Hotline Bling. My first name's Dylan. If you've been on Twitter for the last year, you've probably seen me around at some point, like chronically online. I help out Paraspace in a number of different ways. So like if you have any questions about the platform, any issues that you're running into, you can always DM me or hit me up in the Discord. I can relay that information to whichever team member needs to get it. So yeah. Shield.
And a little side note, I remember a little while ago when Dylan was he's an NBA fan, which speaks to my heart. I'm a high school basketball coach myself. I love the NBA. I love basketball, greatest game. And he was going to an awesome game in Dallas. and he had invited me, and I was like, bro, I would love to go. I would so love to go, but my wife might actually kill me if I do. So I've seen him out and about taking in NBA games, and I think, are you a Top Shot fan, or at least you were at one point?
Well, yeah, at one point, I guess
I
we all
was
were.
too. Yeah, I was super massive. It seems like 7 lifetimes ago, but man, thanks for being here. Appreciate you, and again, appreciate for hooking us up with the Paraspace team as a whole. Thanks for being here. Shield, man, Shield. I've been hearing you so much more in spaces, and it's been great. I've been catching your vibe, dude. You're a good human, which is number one in my book, and would love to hear just kind of what do you do for Paraspace.
Hey, my official title would be an accounts manager, but just like Dylan, I do a bunch of things as handling Discord messages. If anybody has any issues or has any feedback, help the user or bring the feedback back to the team. Also on the product side, helping build the platform and helping the team just coordinate and see like if things are better for the platform, what could be better, and if there are any UI fixes or anything.
Dope. And you're definitely been co-hosting a bunch of spaces that have been a vibe. So I appreciate you for that. I do love a good Twitter space.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Jen, with the normal human background, what's good?
What's up, Phil? I'm Jen, so I'm the head of marketing over here at Paraspace, meaning basically all your GMs, all your GNs. If you're a GN person, we're replying to it. I'm on it. I see everything. If you need like a reply guy or gal in your corner, like that's me. So just make sure you follow Paraspace and we'll get the replies going on all your tweets.
We love the reply guys / gals. They're the best. They make Twitter go. They make Twitter tick.
Oh.
All right. Last but not least, we're actually in Paraspace. What's good? Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well.
I'm Yubo, and started Paraspace a couple months ago. And then I'm mainly on the product side, and then building a lot of the the UI UX, the engineering stuff, and then making sure that we have a good protocol that people like, and then can provide value to our customer.
Yeah. To be clear, Yubo is the founder and CEO of Paraspace.
No big deal.
Very humble guy over here.
He's like, I kind of help on the product side.
I work on one of those teams.
Like I built some UI UX.
Yeah. No big deal. No big deal. It makes sense too, because you're actually in Paraspace right now. You're floating around in it, so you are actually Paraspace. So I guess I'll go to Yubo. What was, or when, I guess, did you and the team decide, like, this is something we want to pursue? We think this can give great value to NFTs. And what would you want somebody that has no clue what Paraspace is? What is it? Like, why should we care about it?
Yeah, I think, like crypto is such a huge revolution on like assets. And then similar to internet, we are going to have all of the assets and valuable. I think every single valuable asset eventually will be on the blockchain, especially starting with the most expensive stuff, art collectibles and all that. And then at some points, we need a sort of services on top, financial services especially. So we see that trend is happening, and then really wanted to make sure that we can build this great lending protocol for the user. And then also, like, another thinking was that, the traditional banking system was very inefficient and then very costly. You can't really call the bank on the weekends, and then just kind of ridiculous to transfer money across the board. So I think our society deserves something much better and much more efficient. Therefore, like, we wanted to build this new sort of protocol that help all sort of non-fungible assets that are able to borrow and lend. That was the starting point. But since we're building, we realized that people also need some additional staking services or things like that. So then we start to build out, and then to make our user happy on the platform.
Yeah, and so being like mobile in a way where you're able to adjust to what the market is asking for, basically. Would you say that's kind of what it's a constantly moving target? Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, we have a long-term vision that won't really change, but the approach to solve problems will be super flexible for us. It really depends on what people want. and then we prioritize them and then solve the highest demands first.
For
Yeah.
sure. Go ahead, Jen.
Well, I just wanted to like jump in because I think like what's really unique about Paraspace specifically is it's the first NFT platform that's letting you actually collateralize your NFTs as well as ERC20 tokens. So that's ETH, that's ApeCoin, USDT, USDC into a single portfolio to borrow against. And what's really unique is it's not a peer-to-peer model. You know, you're not trying to say like, hey, I'm going to bundle all these assets together. Someone give me 80 ETH. We actually have liquidity pools on the platform. So instead of having to go to Aave or a DeFi platform to borrow ETH or to borrow USDC, etc., you can do it right on Paraspace and you can collateralize your NFTs. So in that way, like that's kind of how we're trying to fix the problem of NFT financialization in terms of efficiency and actually having liquid markets.
Yeah, I love that. I just wanted to add a little note when you're talking about, you know, banks like the old school. I need to send you $5,000 or whatever it is. Every time I try to just describe in the most simple way, like what is dope about crypto, I always use that. Like my uncles and aunts that have like literally zero clue. They're like, well, I take that back. They know about freaking Sam Bankman. They all freaking know about that dude. They're like, oh my God, I saw Sam Bankman. Are you broke now? Are you on the streets? I'm like, no, I'm not actually. I think everyone actually sort of hated him. So we're good. We're still moving. We're pushing forward. But I always use the fact that like if I needed to send you money, the amount of time, the hassles, you're jumping over a million hurdles, the cost associated with it. It's so much. It's just like massive compared to I need to send you whatever, $5,000, it can be to you in 30 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever it is, which is like, I think that's the easiest way to kind of tell people this is just one cool thing about crypto. So I think it's dope. I definitely agree there. Will,
Yo,
you're like the master of all things. Actually, both you are. I'm the idiot when it comes to all things lending, staking. I barely even know how to do that. I had to use your thread, of course, the thread master, Mr. Will. Questions for Paraspace. I know both of you know about Paraspace, of course, but what questions do you have for them?
well, you know, I mean, I really like the pace at which you guys have been able to like turn out these new products, right? So we've seen like the compounding pool come out, and that was like a big step. As y'all had mentioned earlier, like that was a clear need. Everyone in the community was like, what do I do? How do I do it? Does it automatically happen? And so of course it doesn't. And you can either do it the hard, slow, manual way or utilize one of these other services, which y'all provide, which is super awesome. So, I mean, what do y'all think would be like the next step in terms of like other tools y'all are thinking about? I mean, I really like the idea of like being able to combine NFTs with ERC20 and like build that kind of portfolio to lend against. But is there something else that y'all are maybe like thinking about or like kind of like prioritizing next?
I can maybe add on one quick thing, which is
Oh, Yubo, your audio is a little funky.
oh, can you hear me now?
There you go. Yeah.
You were in a wind tunnel for a second. Now you're
I
good.
know wind tunnel for sure. Sorry. We're thinking about a couple things. One is obviously in the long term, we need to figure out a trust like digital reputation for on-chain users, and then for NFT holders. There are so much time and energy that people put into the specific NFT that represent their digital identity. And I think that was to explore for some extent toward a credit line based system. So just because who you are as a person, plus your historical records on chain, the protocol should be able to identify some levels of credit score or credit line for you. So that would be one area that I think we wanted to solve. It's a tough problem. I don't think anyone have solved that in scale, but it'd be worth it. And then I think once we have the credit system on chain, then that could be a complete game changer compared with any of the existing financial services.
I mean, goodness, that definitely light bulbs start going off, like in ideas of like, wow, okay. I'm like, you build that street cred and you have all of your portfolio reputation or your transaction reputation behind it essentially. Right. And then you're being able to utilize that to, you know, hey, I want to make a quick play, but I'm like, have ETH tied up here. I've got stuff in NFTs over there. I've lent and borrowed and whatever. And so you're like, hey, okay, now I can lean against my what would you want to call this? Like your Web3 like credit score, but that's like so basic. Like what if you had to give it a new name, like what do you think you would call it?
This is a great question.
That is
maybe Jess, you guys have a better idea than me.
Oh,
I mean, it's definitely something that we're going to be workshopping. Like we've been talking more and more about this idea of this credit system, like this decentralized credit system. I would say a lot more as of like maybe the last 2 weeks. So I don't know. Will, I'll send you a list of like some names that marketing and branding comes up with, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I feel like it's an opportunity to make it creative and make it like really hit home. So yeah, it would be fun to find a cool name other than like, oh, Web3 credit score.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
That's $1 million question, though, to be honest, because if you can nail the marketing there, then I mean, again, you're just bringing more people into your platform because it makes sense to them. It's catchy. I mean, it sounds corny, but it's true. Like marketing does matter for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's like the difference between a digital collectible and an NFT.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
because like for us, you know, obviously our target demographic right now, it's people who already have NFTs. There are people who already have these digital assets. And then, you know, that I would say that's general audience. And then we have to distill it even further to people who understand NFT-fi and are ready to like take their assets to the next step, if that makes sense. But like long term, we really want to be the place that people come for anything having to do with NFT-fi. So we're trying to simple things down as much as we can, so that way we are able to talk to like Web2 folks and Web2 normies that are like, oh, I think I might be interested. I might want to come over, and hopefully onboard, you know, the next billion users into lending and borrowing.
I think that's a perfect transition, actually, Jen. That's a question I had too. Is like, so like what, like how do you all go about thinking about that massive question as well as how do we bring more people into the space as a whole? Because it is hard. Like, of course we can go one-to-one and I can go talk to my neighbor, Charlie, you know, and my coworker, Jim, but like, how can we do it at a mass scale? Right. Like, and I feel like, I mean, you just said it, it's super important to you all as well. So like, what are the conversations you guys are having to kind of help push the space forward? Because it is a massive hurdle, I would say, currently.
Yeah. So I think education initiatives are one thing that's just kind of like a given. I think every protocol should have some sort of education aspect to it because we are still so early. And to be really honest with you, I think at this point, and Yubo, you can talk a little bit more about this, like we kind of see the adoption of NFT finance basically being like this crazy L curve, where at some point when regulations become more clear, once we have better financial products actually built in Web3, once we have a little bit more capital efficiency, like as people like Starbucks and all these major big brands start coming into the space and onboarding their customer bases, these companies, like forget the consumer for a second, these companies are going to realize how blockchain technology makes their business so much more efficient. And like the moment that clicks, we're going to see a mass like onboarding of big brands. Therefore, the users are coming. And I think at least how I'm thinking about this over the next 2 to 3 years is, you know, let the big brands with the big ass marketing budgets kind of bring the users, but being positioned and ready in a sense where, hey, if NFT-fi, lending and borrowing and like Web3 is something you're interested in, come to Paraspace. Here are all the resources. Here are all the videos you can watch, all the education, but having a really simple user platform that has clean UX, UI, that is efficient in actual terms of like giving you more liquidity for your capital.
Right.
I think it's going to all kind of like click into place, if that makes sense.
Yeah. one thing I wanted to add on to that, totally agree, which is so we have like around 1 to 200 million plus crypto holders globally. And then we're growing at a speed that is very similar to the early stage in internet adoption. We're roughly around 96 to 98. And then based on that, a growth speed, we would reach to roughly a billion people at 2026 to 2028. And then that's just the crypto holders adoption over a period of time. And the other interesting data to look at is the DeFi users. So MetaMask plus all of the wallets collectively have over 30 to 40 million, I would say, global monthly active users. Um, I think it probably take around 5-10 years to really reach to this massive adoptions of normal consumers. We are lacking of a few important infrastructure, a really good consumer-based wallets, a solution to hold your key without the fear of losing it,
Yeah.
the capability to onboard fiat currency, and then the regulatory clearance on whether DeFi or not is capable of using or so. That made me realize something of the similar patterns of mobile internet. So at the early stage of internet, users are interacting with the native contents. And then after 2010, after iPhone 3 roughly released, then people start to interact with our real life, right? Uber founded around 2008, 2009, similar time with Airbnb. And then we have other, like sharing economy type of apps, really because of the mobile plus GPS plus 3G and all those technologies. So I think similar trend would happen in the blockchain space. So first, people use blockchain native assets to, as an applications. It can be the, transfer of stable coins. It can be stored value, things like that. I think again, like there are a couple of infrastructure that are missing. Will for sure take 5 years plus to be 100% ready. Then we'll see more applications that people use that connect to their daily life, right?
Yeah.
And I think for us, we want to think about like a 10-year vision where how can we bring a billion people on board? That definitely requires us to support, as many use cases, which means that many different type of valuable asset as possible. So think about Amazon, but for lending. Then we have to prepare this infrastructure ready now so that it's risk managed, segregated across multiple categories and tiers, and then at the same time, follow the adopted asset or native asset first, and then toward the real world asset that will eventually be on chain. I think it just a matters of time and who can survive over multiple cycles.
Yeah, that's well said, both of you, because like one thing that jumped out, and I was having this conversation actually with some friends in back channels today, just about bringing more people into the space. And two things were like, I feel like every day you see multiple big businesses that are like filing trademarks or something, getting ready to come into NFTs if they're not already. And then number two, I had a friend, Squirtle, who's been in crypto longer than I. And he said, it made a lot of sense. It's like, you want people to be interacting with NFTs and not realize and remember that they actually are. Like, it's kind of like Apple Pay. I remember when Apple Pay was first a thing, and it was like, there's no way this is real. Like, I remember thinking like, this is going to like steal my identity. You know what I mean? Like all the worst things that could potentially happen. That's what I was thinking that was going to happen.
My mom thought the same when like Amazon first started coming out and putting credit card information and stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it's like you have technology that at first feels scary, maybe, but definitely has some hiccups. And then we just kind of forget in a sense. That doesn't mean that if you want to learn more, you can't. Like you can absolutely. And I think that this will be different where people are going to want to actually learn about the blockchain and be able to see this because it is completely transparent and we can learn so much more from that. But you are going to have, your uncle who's 70 years old, like he doesn't give a shit, right? Like he just wants to be able to use the thing and it'd be great. And I think that's where the mass adoption happens. And I agree. It's got to be like one of those things that we're not really thinking about it as much.
I agree with that. So like a lot of people talk about saying gaming and a lot of these things will be the next thing to blow up in the NFT space. But what I really think is just more more personal, like personal records, like governmental and medical records, I feel like would be the thing that would come to the forefront.
Right. No, that makes sense too. It's like deeds of houses, cars, like everything.
Yeah.
Like all that information. So much. I mean, it makes so much sense too when you think about the ways that we like organize highly important information now. It's actually obscene when you
We
think
saw
about
that
it.
we saw that a couple months ago, right? Like that there's a listing on OpenSea where a guy listed, I don't know if it was a commercial building or a house, but it was
I think it was a house. Yeah.
He listed it right on OpenSea, and like when you bought it, you get the deed.
Yeah.
So it's like it's simple. You don't have to go through any hassles of getting an agent or anything. It's pretty sick.
Real life application matters for sure. I think we get caught up sometimes in like monkey pictures. I mean, I'm guilty. I'm guilty, you know, but there's so much more that can be really like life changing and really just change the world, I think, for the better too.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, I think Shield, did you say medical records, like information? Yeah. Like, it's funny that you say that because I just thought back to like all the times that I visited doctors' offices and you have to fill out the same.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So at every office, at every appointment, it's like.
And the wall filled with folders and they have to go
files.
through it.
And so it's just like, I'm excited for when people stop looking at like folks like us who are early adopters of Web3 and NFTs, like we're a little crazy because we see the future and the possibility of what's like how this world is going to work. Like I tell people all the time, I'm like, you know, our financial system is super antiquated. Like you don't have ownership over your assets. Like, do you really think that this system is going to continue to stay the same, like in the 21st century and not change in the next couple of decades? And then they're like, oh, that makes sense. I was like, yeah, to your Apple Pay thing. I was like, bet you never thought you'd have your credit card on your phone that you could just tap to pay for stuff. Like it's going to be the same thing.
It will be. And I think we're early enough where there's even days where I sit here and think like, am I fucking crazy for like spending as much time and like energy and holding as many assets as I do? But then at the end of the day, I'm like, this really is the future. And you can see it. And I think every day it just becomes more clear. Yeah, there's bumps along the way, but I think we've made a lot of strides. And I'm excited about the next 5, 10, 15 years because I think it's just it's gonna be like warp speed once we hit that track.
Yeah.
And like your son is so lucky to have it.
I know. Oh, well, not for me. Thank you. He's so
I feel like most kids growing up with parents that are like actively involved in this space right now are going to be so much more financially literate by the time they're 18. And like actually understand like, oh yeah, this is why my mom or my dad was like crazy about that. Like Ethereum.
Crazy, just crazy.
Just crazy about Ethereum. Like, oh, I get it now. But
no, for sure. We actually have a daughter turning 1 in a couple weeks and definitely going to set up a wallet and put some ETH in there and just kind of let it ride. Just because, again, those will be conversations many years down the line here, but I think it'll definitely be beneficial. So, and that's when ETH's going to be like 20,000 or something. You know?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen.
It can. It can.
It will happen.
There you go.
How is it? Are you guys all staked currently? Are all 3 of you guys staked?
I staked via contract.
Nice.
I think thanks to Will, really, and Bryce, they definitely held both my hands as I crossed the finish line for sure. So yeah, I'm staking, and
Will and I are both. I think we're all max staked.
I'm in like a transitionary period right now, actually. Like
just a fun fact for. Just a fun fact for you, Phil and Bryce. So Paraspace, we have a Horizon staking section that lets you claim all of your rewards in one click. That way, you're going to contract and you're claiming it's from pool to pool or ape to ape. In Paraspace, all you have to do is just connect your wallet, go to the Horizon staking side, and it just pulls up your Horizon stake, and you can just claim all of your rewards in one click.
I think I saw that too, and I'm like, well, that's not that I'm not Franklin, 70 apes, but I do have a few assets, and if I could make that one click, that would still be easier. So I definitely remember seeing that for sure, and that's great. Again, those are the things you guys were talking about before. Is like you have a vision, but there's also moving targets that you're trying to like help. You're trying to be an asset for the space as a whole, and that, I mean that's apparent. Like I'm following what y'all are doing, and And I think that's the key is real builders building real things for real people. And I think you guys are definitely doing that for sure. So I have one last question for y'all, and you can kind of just go down the line, and it doesn't have to be anything big. If you wanted to, earth shattering, cool. I guess my biggest question is like, what are you most excited about with Paraspace through NFTs and crypto as a whole? And if there's one tagline you'd want to tell somebody to get them to check out a little bit more about Paraspace.
Yeah, I'll start again. I think the thing, short-term-ish that I'm most excited about is the way, like, so we see people like Franklin, Cirrus, like these huge volume traders, like they're buying and selling huge amounts of stuff per day. And we actually have like we call it buy now, pay later, but you can collateralize your assets and then use them to, make plays, make flips, basically buy NFTs from OpenSea, and we'll be implementing more marketplaces as we go. But basically for 0 ETH, right? Because you're using your assets as collateral to basically borrow the ETH, but it all happens at the same time. So it's like you're buying it for free. And then, you can hold it for a little bit. You're accruing interest on that ETH, and then you can sell it, and it's all happening on Paraspace. So I'm really excited to see how some of those guys use the platform and really just see it in action, because, we've only been live for about a month now, and we've already, built like really cool things with the help of the community, like getting feedback from the community and building these things out. So I'm just super excited to see like how we can continue to do that with these new features.
Right.
So like basically, I'll just add on to what Dylan was saying. It's basically right now, people are able to use their NFTs to borrow ERC20s, but they aren't able to use their NFTs to buy more NFTs. So
Gotcha.
Think of it this way. Think of it, you have 3 apes. You don't want to sell your apes, but you see this good one on the floor. You can use your apes as a credit system that Yubo was talking about. You could buy that 4th ape. You could have it in your Paraspace wallet. And let's just say you held it for a week. Next week, you can list it from your Paraspace wallet, flip it, pay off the interest, and still pocket your extra ETH that you made. So it's like letting your NFTs work for you instead of letting your ERC20s work for you.
That makes sense. Definitely, for sure.
Oh man, you guys have made me rethink my tagline multiple times. God, my brain has been going. But I would say buy NFTs for as low as 0 ETH.
There you go. That's it. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. Or like borrow anything against everything. Either of those works.
Yeah.
But I'm particularly excited about seeing like this convergence of NFTFi and DeFi. I think historically, us as a space, we've looked at those things as 2 separate things. But the reality is, as Web3 matures, as the space matures, as these application layers are built and become more robust, they're totally going to converge. It makes the most sense for them to. Doesn't make sense to go to one platform to borrow against your NFTs and then have to go to a completely different platform to borrow against your ERC20s.
Right.
So I'm like
another one to list it.
Yeah, and another one to list it. And it's like, I'm really looking forward to when like NFTFi and essentially becomes synonymous with decentralized finance, and that when decentralized finance just takes over finance altogether and it becomes the new financial system as we know it.
For sure. It's again, ease of use, right? We want it to be easy, not so hard. If we want people to be here, we can't make it. You have to do like 20 different things just to buy and sell something. Make it easy.
Yubo?
Yeah, I think
Paraspace himself.
Great question. Let me think. I think around like 56%, like all Americans have tried and used buy now pay later in the retail markets. It is a around $150 to $200 billion markets with a pretty big growth every year. I think digital collectibles, NFTs, people definitely want to have the demand 100%. And then I think it'll be very interesting to see how the behavior would change when you could pay 0 down payments through Paraspace. We haven't really pushed that product forward as much since we just launched, but I think it has a lot of potential to change kind of people's behavior in terms of buying or selling NFTs. And then the tool that we provide can be potentially become a way of people like trading or buying NFTs in the future. Yeah.
That's a really great fact, and not like that shouldn't really surprise me, to be honest. Like when you really think about it, sit down and think about it. But that's just a great point, that there's going to be more of that, where people want to be able to use, like Shield was saying too, is like use your NFTs for you, right? Like let them work a little bit for you and with you, rather than they're over there and you're over here trying to do these things. It should kind of be a combined power. So hey, I just want to say thanks. This has been a great conversation. I mean, I knew a little bit about y'all, and I know some of you, like before Paraspace even, but it's great to talk. Please come back sometime. We can have another Wednesday night vibe session when you guys are still rolling out these amazing updates and tools. I just know it's going to happen because y'all have already done so many things. And like you said, you've only been live for like a month. So, I mean, talk to us in 2 months, 3 months. The sky's the limit.
Some things are coming.
Hey,
Some things are coming.
Eyes peeled. That's the alpha. Keep
Wink,
your eyes
wink,
on.
cough, cough,
yeah.
wink,
All
wink.
the winks are happening right now.
Yeah.
But check out Paraspace. Check out all of these fine people here on the team. And again, just thanks for being here. We appreciate you, and we'll talk soon, everybody.
Hey, thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks for having us on, you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Let's talk about some buttholes.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my favorite thing to talk about.
Oh, it's my favorite time of the day, butthole talk.
Wait, before we go
yeah.
straight into butthole talk, I mean, we can bridge the gap between
Yes, bridge the
ApeCoin
gap, bro.
and then into butthole talk.
Yeah.
I was talking with somebody the other day, and we were talking about stability after the butthole stuff.
Yes.
It
This
is
is
what
the weirdest
prime
conversation
for
of all
ApeCoin
time.
staking.
I remember
It is-
seeing these tweets.
Yeah.
It is prime for ApeCoin staking. So essentially, after we have fun with Jimmy, we need ApeCoin to just be super stable, and then it's going to be a grand old time staking Ape. Yes.
You say
That's all
that.
I
Are
got.
you
That's-
concerned? Are you concerned?
Dude, am I concerned? No, because
Maybe a little bit.
the utility coming from these games for ApeCoin is just insane. Like, did you see?
Yeah, I know.
Did
I
you
know.
see the chart?
Those
Yeah.
boosters are nuts.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, hold on.
And for
Let me
only
pull it up.
2 8, like people will be
Like, why would you not? Right? Like,
Are you gonna
that's
show the random calcs you put together?
Hold on. No, I mean, yeah. Should I show the random calcs? I don't know. Maybe.
could.
Let me pull up.
You
let
show
me
all the
pull up
other random
the-
calcs, brother.
No, he tweeted about it before we went live, but basically like randomly generated common, uncommon,
Okay.
epic, rare, legendary things, and then randomly did pass tier and boost,
Yeah.
and then just like who would win, right?
Okay. Let me break this down real quick because this is insane, right?
It is insane.
Essentially, mutant 0%. I can't highlight. That's kind of annoying. Mutant 0%. Tier 2 is the mutant plus a dog, 10% boost. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Long story short, look at tier 4, 30% bonus. Okay. If you use ApeCoin
ApeCoin
and you boost your tier 1 pass, bro, that's literally
still
the
not
equivalent
even
of a
at it.
tier 4 pass
wait
without
huh?
Ape.
Yeah,
Like half of the.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm speaking gibberish right now,
it's like
dude. It's been a long.
yeah, that didn't even put you at BAYC status.
Half of BAYC status.
Say that again. So
Normal
wait.
BAYC status.
Oh, you're saying if tier 1, if you just do the boosted, you're half of the way to tier 4. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? Yeah.
Which is like, that's crazy. Like, you can get that for the low price of 2 ApeCoin.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And did you see the other bit? I bet you some people didn't read this part. There was another bit in there. It talks about, hey, so it's 10 minutes of real time.
Right.
Say you're like playing, you're at 9 minutes and 58 seconds. You frick, I just lost. And then you roll over and you're like smashing the play again button. If you get in there within that 2 seconds before your 10-minute timer goes up, you get to have that boost for the entire time for that next game. So you could go on and just have a smash, gaming session and totally knock it out of the park.
And why, you might ask,
boost-
Phil? Because Yuga's nice.
Yes, because they're nice. Where does it say?
They're nice.
Why? Because we're nice.
Why? Because we're nice.
Yeah, they said if you got 5 seconds left, blah 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 blah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah,
dude, is this like a security thing? Like I pull up the news section, but then like you can see my security thing.
I mean, yeah, I guess
That's the whole point of it.
I'm compromised.
So you know that you're on the right thing.
you're gonna have to redo it, bro.
Yikes.
No, but I
you can slide it to the right of your screen though, Will, so it's not like over the text.
You can. Wow, I feel like a boomer. You can move it,
bro.
Holy shit.
That's something I would say, brother.
I thought this was just obnoxiously stuck in the middle. You still
right hand. You can slide it to the right.
Middle it is.
Wherever you want it, bro.
Right there.
Right in the middle.
I would agree. Like the 2 ape price point is just like not that much, where I think people will be using it, not even considering not doing it. Does that make sense? Like they're just gonna let it freaking rip.
So here's the thing though, right? I mean, like you can stack it up. Say you're like, yo, I've got an hour. You put your little ape coin tokens in. Well, first you claim them, right? Because you're staking your ape like a good ape. You claim them because you've got just a plethora of ape coin pouring in. After you reload your apes, whatever. Anyways, gaming session, you throw some ape coin in there. You're like, cool, I'm going to play for an hour. You load up an hour's worth of boost and away you go.
Right. But there's so wait. So you're saying like, let's say like I just have this epic freaking, by the way, this is not going to happen for Phil. Like I'm probably going to get last place, but in this other world, I'm just rolling, right? And I bought 7 boosters. Mm-hmm. Are you saying the booster will just engage once the next 10 minutes is up and I'll just get another one, boom, and get another one, boom. And I'm still like on the same freaking run?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
That's crazy, bro. Dude, someone's going to have the most absurd score of all time. We know that, right? Like it's just going to be asinine.
Well, think about it. A whale could come in and be like, oh, yep, I'll drop 1,000 ape. And the next 2 days boosted. Give me a good score.
Give me a bot. Yes, let me
human. See if I can pull up my little numbers thing that we were doing, because we were like looking at it. We were saying, sorry, we'll go to that one in a second. This is shitty stats.
Love it, bro.
Shitty stats, courtesy of Bryce for the name there.
Love it.
Look, I'm telling you, I back to the Paraspace conversation. Web3 credit score. Make it fun. Shitty stats. This is something different we're talking about. But
feels like shitty.
It's got so much potential. Pops. So let me explain what I did here. Basically, I put all our columns of this is percent boost. This is if you boost it with ape. This is how many points you get without boosts, blah, 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 blah. And then I came over here and I made this chart. And basically, it calculates your base score. So this would be like just a mutant's base score. And then I went in and I said, okay, well, what kind of pass are you holding? I randomized all this shit. I said, are you boosted? Yes or no? And then I said, okay, choose a random number between 0 and 50. Choose a random number 0, 40, 30, 20, 10. So essentially, all of these are random values to simulate like, hey, this is me going through this score. So like essentially, this could be 0, 0, 0, 0, 1.
Sure.
Right? And it could be like, wow, you just totally effed that up. But like, that's your final score. So anyways, we put this all together and we found some interesting things. I think I'm a little too zoomed in here. Hold on. Okay. Sorry. Let me stop jumping around. Threw all those in, sorted it. So like in this case, this would be your base score, 96,100. But because this person has a tier 4 pass and is boosted, their score becomes 140,000. Right?
Yep.
So you can like see like, okay, who's in the top place here? Like the top 20, you pretty much have to have a tier 4 pass. Now that doesn't mean you can't pull a Mission Impossible. Like here's tier 2 and a tier 3.
Well, look at that
but,
tier
like,
2 base score, right? Like he's
at-
well
Yeah.
above everybody else, but because he's a tier 2 and not a tier 4,
Right.
he's now in 6th place instead of 1st.
Right.
So, okay, let's just, for shits and giggles, let's see if we can find the very first lower than tier 4 that's not boosted, because it's probably going to be a little ways down. Yep.
I still don't see it.
We're still,
There it
oh,
is.
Here it is. Here
Yeah.
it is. But it's a tier 3.
Right.
So this is
Just a BAYC.
Yep.
this is
Base
4.5% of the way down. So this is like place 44 out of 1,000.
Well,
Anyways,
look, had
so-
10,000 more points than the same tier 3 above him, but because he wasn't boosted,
So it's like, why would you not? Right.
Yeah, I mean, so like, but like when you think about like 10,000 points, right? And then you come over here, you're like, wow, I need to hit 5 more legendary chests, 10 more rare chests. But you know, I mean, like
you start doing the math. And it's like, whoa.
it starts going like, damn, you either got to be like so freaking good at the game. So like, disclaimer,
There's gonna
bro,
be some sick mofo that is though.
but disclaimer, I mean, like this could be totally wrong, right? The
Sure.
weighting
Right.
I have here could be totally off.
Could be
It
less
doesn't
than 10
account
across the
for
board.
boosts.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought it was a fun little exercise. Basically, Bryce and I were trying to derive the value of a pass.
Yes.
That's like in my mind, the $1 million question. Is it worth buying a tier 1 pass? Okay. It's 1.34 right now. 1.7 for a tier 2. Is the 0.4 ETH, is that gonna make or break the bank in terms of like, is that gonna give you a lot more for your money?
Right.
You know, like if you're a skilled player, is that 0.4 ETH investment in the front end gonna actually, you know, translate to results on the back end? And the question is like maybe. So like the best way that we came up with to look at this would be, oh crap, I don't know why I just clicked all of them like a moron. 4.868. Basically what we did was we're taking the floor price and we're just dividing the ETH floor price by the percent of boost that you get with ApeCoin.
Okay.
So essentially 4.868. Let me just refresh this. You know, we love doing manual labor, and this is like one of those grind things that, you know, sometimes you just got to do. You just got to do. Okay, so 1.7. And then I'll talk about the numbers on the right-hand side of that in a second. 1.33. Okay, so we're talking about these guys right here.
Yep.
Tier 1 through 4, current floor prices. And this is essentially like your weighting score. Like this is like to say if you normalized all of these, like how would they rank up? Currently, you're not getting a good bang for your buck with this. You want a lower number in terms of like trying to find value. This is how far your ETH's going to go to give you percentage points. Does that make sense? We tracking?
Yes.
Am I explaining this correctly? Because it's possible that I'm not doing this right.
Yes.
But I believe that this is correct. So essentially, tier 2 passes at 6.8 would be the buy over a tier 3, over a tier 1, over a tier 4. If you're trying to spend as little ETH as possible to get the most,
The biggest boost
out of your boosts, right? So for
Which
every
that makes sense if you just look at floor price, right? Like the difference between 1 and 2 is 0.4 ETH. The difference between 2 and 3 is
Right.
1 ETH. And the difference between 3 and 4 is 2.1 ETH, right? So that gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger, which is also why we see the number between 1 and 2 super small at 6.8 and then skyrockets up to 10.8.
Yep.
So, but anyways, I mean, I'm not surprised here. This is exactly what you would expect. The floor price gets bought up harder than the second tier. So this is like a classic, like mid-tier, just getting no love at all. It's because they're hard to purchase, like they're hard to value, they're hard to like provide adequate liquidity to, because nobody like it's kind of like in the middle. So like you have your two extremes on the front end and the high end, and that's exactly how most collections have distributions anyways. So anyways, I don't know, it's something to kind of think about. How do these floor prices stack up? Now I'm going to be completely honest, I'm surprised we're at 1.33 for the floor.
I thought we'd be much lower.
I thought we were gonna fade this shit into oblivion and be at like half an ETH. I'm not even.
The big thing still though is the amount of passes that haven't been claimed yet. Right? Call up that OpenSea link. Right, we're expecting somewhere around 30,000 passes, less the apes and mutants.
It'll be less than that though. I think our top would be about 25,000 if I was just completely guessing. There's gonna be some motherfuckers that forget.
So then we're like halfway there. I mean, if we introduce half the supply, are we gonna tank, from here? So I don't want to give away too much strategy, but if you're listening, then I'll go ahead and just spill the beans anyways.
You got 3 weeks to play this game. There is no
You don't
rush
need every single pass that you're going to use at the end of this thing. You don't need it on day one.
Yeah. And
all you really need to do is you need to have one pass to access the game so you can practice. Practice. We have 3 weeks to, get ill at the game. Like just disgustingly dirtily, just wrecking the scoreboard, good at the game. But, then once you're confident and you're like, this is how I'm performing without any boost, this is how I'm performing without any of this stuff, then go turn boosts on for a minute, try it out. You're like, oh shit, I'm like, I dramatically increased my score. Then once you see those results, you can then take, okay, what if I applied this score, but it was under a different tier pass, this score under a different tier pass. And you can literally just say like, this is how I perform. I'm not going to get much better than this because I've like kind of learned all I can learn. And I'm not going to like suddenly just like, oh my God, I woke up on the other side of the bed today and suddenly I get twice as far every single time. Right?
Bro, I swear that happened to me at the mobile game though. The last mobile game, I would be stuck on a wave for a day, wake up the next morning, get it first try. I'm like, huh?
Then maybe you just built different.
Bro, I am.
So a question on this. Do you like that it's 3 weeks long? First question.
Yes, because passes have time to dip.
And you want
passes have time to dip, and you also have time to actually play the game and take your time and not feel like, all right, I've got 7 days to try and grind this leaderboard, or I'm not going to get a bong or a plush toy or a whatever it may be.
With the mobile game, you were literally losing sleep.
Yeah.
You don't have to lose sleep with this game.
I'll be honest, I wasn't losing sleep because I was like, there's going to be some sick bastard that does, so I'm not even going to attempt.
Bryce and I lost sleep.
I did.
I was setting an alarm
Bryce
like
was
every hour and a half.
getting rewarded.
Bro, it was like top 100 got the bong. I was literally like 102. And I was like, yo, Bored Ape Yacht Club.
And they cut it short too. They cut it short too because everybody was over there freaking sweating on it.
Oh my gosh. I was so triggered. So triggered. But it is what it is.
Yeah, see, so I didn't do that. I just wanted my plushie and I was good with that. And now
I got my Captain Trippy's hat and I love it.
What if did you see some of the tweets I forwarded in the DMs about IP rights / whoa, big face. Whoa.
Hey, big sexy.
Whoa. Or okay. Or okay.
Yo, Phil, can you stop fucking with it?
I'm literally not. My hands are right here. Oh, it's not my hand. Oh, I'm practicing Dookey Dash right now. What the hell's going on? Will has lost his mind. Now I just lost my train of thought. Thanks, Dick. No. Oh, the thought about IP rights and some people speculating on what this like. I can see that you muted me. I get a call up when you do that to me.
Let's go.
But like, don't you think that like at the end of the day you don't fade Yuga like ever, right?
Yeah, well, you don't fade Yuga until you should fade Yuga.
And when's that?
When it's time to fade Yuga.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
When
ever.
people are spending 12 ETH for a dog.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's dumb, but I was just emotionally attached to mine. I couldn't sell that one.
I couldn't sell mine either. I was
I knew that was like I was telling y'all too. Like I was like,
Yo, this,
everyone
yeah, I
knew
remember
this.
you tweeting. You were like, dogs at 12 is dumb.
I mean, it was fucking dumb, dude.
Puddles.
stupid.
Whoa. But let's check the price real quick. It wasn't
Not
dumb.
12.
It's definitely not 12. It's 6.5, so about half. Yikes. But I don't know, man. I'm like, I don't want to not have a tier 4 pass. Yeah, I could sell it today and hope it gets down to 2 or something. And
Do you have 2 tier 4s?
I don't. I could get one if I really wanted to and like grab a dog and then literally just like.
Well, you gotta be.
I know I have to make sure that it hasn't been claimed, but like I could
thought you had
potentially
2 dogs.
try to do that. No, I did a long time ago. I sold. That was my first Yuga sale. Was believe it or not, a Galaxy fur. August 2021 for like 6 ETH.
Nice.
Yeah.
So okay, but you're rocking. You would be rocking 1 tier 4 and 2 tier.
I got a
1.
tier 4, a tier 3, and 1 tier 1.
Oh right.
So I don't know, like I understand completely because I would agree that I thought like my guesses the other night I put out just randomly. I was like, I think the lowest tier will be like 0.5 to 0.75. I think the next one will be like 1 or just over. I think the next tier up would be like 1.5 to 2, and then maybe tier 4 is like 3. Like that's what I thought. Like just complete random guesses. And it's not like I guess that far from there. And again, if you introduce the next whatever 12, 13, 15,000 more, we probably are about there. But dude, I just Yuga just has my heart, dude. Has my heart. And so it's hard. It's hard to do.
Right. It is hard because I want as many passes as possible, but I also would like to make some money off of this. So
that's the I know it sounds like a silly dilemma. I see and I can feel the comments and the people talking about, oh, Yuga holders, such a tough life. You always get airdrop shit. I'm telling you, bro, I don't take a lot of profits from Yuga.
Think about it a lot, man. It's fucking tough.
Yeah, exactly. It keeps me up at night.
We sleep over this, people.
I don't know what to do. I'll be honest. Had I been home when this happened, I thought it was gonna be tonight, which kind of sucked when it was like whatever 11 o'clock, 10 like that fucking sucked.
Literally right at 10:30. I was like,
I was ticked.
Like that sucked a lot because I mean, there's no way I could claim until late, and then I wasn't even in a hurry. But had I been home when it happened, I think I would have listed like right away, just high. Like I would have.
I did.
Like, did you sell the which one?
So I claimed a tier 1 pass.
Okay. Yeah.
And instantly listed it at like 3 and saw quite a few instantly listed at like 2.9, 2.8,
Right.
2.7. So then I went down to 2.5.
Yeah.
And then Will and I previously had talked kind of similar to you. I was like, these things are going to half an ETH.
Yeah.
Right. People are going to fade the fuck out of it and we're going to just nuke to half an ETH. So I had like a 1.92.
Yeah.
And I was like, accept.
Yeah. And I mean, I would have put the tier 4 at like 7 or 8. Just like I would have looked and seen like what happened. Like obviously I wouldn't have just been like, oh, 3 ETH. I would have looked to see for a second, but I would have put it as high as possible and just to see. And I know that some were selling at like 6.69, I think, the Mimi number. But like that just felt like that would have felt like an instant dub if you're just a little bit patient. I will say through Coda Land, I think I was taught the very valuable lesson of patience because
I've been antsy ever since the launch and like buying passes because I'm now passless except for the apes that are in the wallet that I do not have access to.
Right.
But yeah, definitely one of those patience. No rush to have a pass tonight.
It's an interesting dilemma.
It is.
What do you think? It's
there's all these people that were asleep that have been asleep for 10 hours.
Right.
They're gonna wake up and start claiming relatively soon.
Yeah, that's true. I thought I was trying to guess like how many tier 4s there would be. That was like one of my biggest questions. Just because I had no clue, right? Because there's not enough dogs for all.
Just how many apes are holding the dog.
And I thought that was like, I don't know, like vital information. And I actually felt like there was already more claimed than I thought there would be at this point. Like it felt like a decently high number. I don't know. It was like, let me look. Tier 4. Is there really 2,700? Like that feels high to me.
That is high.
Like, is that not fucking high? Like that feels high to
But
me.
I mean, I guess it makes sense because
They would have just
all you
held
own
it
is
because you
mutant,
got
like,
it.
odds are you weren't going to be able to afford a 12 ETH dog.
And also, like a lot of those Bored Apes, they've just simply held their dog, right? They haven't done anything with it. But I was just curious because like I feel like this will be like kind of rare. And I was like, oh shit, there's already like almost 3,000 of these bitches. Like, damn. Still good, I guess.
Still pretty darn rare.
Still good. How many? I guess the question
But
is how many.
still,
Tier
going
2,
back to those
1,500.
calculations that Will and I had made was with that factor being at a 10 something, like your best bet right now is to probably sell a tier 4. Either that or all the other prices need to move on up.
If you were trying to get cute with it, you would want to sell the tier 4 and buy tier 2s.
Well, I would probably just sell and just wait. Why would you go insta buy a tier 2 when like you're expecting? But if you're expecting, like if you're selling your tier 4 in anticipation that it's going to drop, like everything else would drop as well.
There's a risk that they run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that more so with Yuga than a lot of things, right? Like, because here's the other thing. I agree with like the smart play is honestly probably selling every pass I have right now and just freaking chilling for a second. But the also reality is like there's going to be people that are like, well, I'm going to get it into Yuga for the first time ever. And I'm going to take this shot that this, because they've also talked about this is not just a one-off thing. Like they say, hold your pass because it'll continue to evolve. So what the hell does that mean? Like I'm going to play one game, I'm going to play 3 games, and there's going to be a reward at the end of each one. Like that changes things dramatically. And so if people are like, well, shit, it's only 1.5 ETH. I spent that on one-eyed dolphin NFT, you know, like, or some bullshit NFT that we've all burned ETH on. There's just like so many people. I feel like if it goes sub 1 even, I think, and it will, I think it will for sure. But I think that's where you're going to start seeing like a lot of people that want to get in. They're going to feel good about like 0.75, 0.8, somewhere in there, like on that lowest tier. Like I feel like people will feel good about that.
I will say though, blur bids on these would be pretty nice. If you could try them on blur and see all the blur bids stacking up on, wow, there's 60 buyers at 1.2.
Here's my 2 cents. We don't know what's at the end of the tunnel for these things, right?
Yeah.
We know it's fragments, you're getting power sources or something. And then they talk about, oh, they put this very vague. Oh, you'll have rights to the images, which I mean, it's kind of standard. I don't want to read too much into it, but I feel like if we looked at the rights that they're giving for these, it's probably the same as like the other side, or maybe not.
I think it was the same.
I'm not entirely sure what other side rights are, but what I'm getting at is I think ultimately though these will be artifacts that we bring into the other side. They will be things that we use or, you know, flex. I mean, I have no idea.
So because we're in speculation mode, which I love, just for a minute, what's the fair value of that then?
If you were to base
of a
it
Yuga of what you just said, like if that's what it is.
If you're going just based off artifacts.
Correct. Like if it was
like half an ETH above the floor.
Like that's the question is like, yeah, I know this is like so far down the rabbit hole. Actually, we're going further, but like, what would you value that at?
So personally, I think I think artifacts on other side currently are undervalued in terms of like, you know, ease of collectability.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the biggest hindrance to them right now. It's the only reason why my Coda farts aren't, you know, 6.9 ETH a piece. You know, it's because you also have to buy the land attached to it. So I think once we have the decoupling, we will have another period of price discovery for artifacts. And I feel like that will really show their true value. But until people can actually use them,
doesn't
they
matter.
They have speculative value. They don't have physical, this is utility value.
Hmm.
And so the likely scenario is that these two things don't mix. They don't match up.
Mhm.
Right. Even if we got like some amazing, like, I don't even know. I don't even know.
That's the whole thing, right? It's like what could be like so amazing that if you didn't get that thing, you'd be like, I am the biggest dumbass of all time. You know what I mean? Like, what is that?
The only thing that would make you feel like I am the biggest dumbass of all time is if these things just go to the moon. But like, the question would be how, right? Like,
Yeah.
so for example, let's talk about Flex, because like, oh, shoot, hold on, friends.
You're good, duder.
Dude.
Okay, so
Ski.
can we see this? Am I on the right?
I cannot, because you were fucking around with that thing. It's probably all fucked up now.
Yeah, we can
There,
see.
I got it, buddy.
Okay, let's talk about Flex.
All right.
This is a freaking flex and a half. You know how much money is on this picture?
A lot.
A lot. A lot. This dude has shelled out some dough.
Yeah.
We got the one of one,
Shout out nobody.
the chosen sword. We got the, the potion. We've got gold apes. We've got blue beams, robot, gold, robot.
I mean, they're all just massive grails.
Zombie punk. I mean, I don't have to say anymore. So if you get the high-end prize, like those two pieces in his collection right there, I forget the exact numbers, but I had posted them the other day. If the grand prize of this thing is going to have any value, it's going to be because nobody bought your prize.
Wait, so you're holding on to it? Gotcha.
Wait, you're saying the key?
Whatever that key is, the one of one key that the number.
Dude, that's
one
gonna go for something absurd.
Yeah, like 1.6, 1.2 million.
That's
Dude,
what I'm saying.
Jesus
I'm like,
Christ.
this is what I'm comparing it to.
I can retire, bro. I need to fucking pull this key out of
I
the
mean,
monkey's ass.
nobody
Literally,
dot
I'm gonna get the lowest score.
I'm literally gonna get the lowest score though, for real.
No,
What if they're like, surprise, since you suck, you get the key? Oh god.
Imagine,
yeah, they're like, wow, you're really at the bottom. Blink.
Yeah, wow, you're really shit at this game.
Congrats. Yeah, that's the thing though. You're right. So I don't. But like again, it's like, what could it be? If it's just artifacts, then I feel like.
Okay, but like, what is nobody gonna do with this sword? He's gonna swing it around the other side, and he's gonna slay it into some boss's heart, right? Like, maybe.
So
if not, like, currently, what is he doing with it? He's displaying it on a banner and be like, "Yo, I've got some massive peen that just allowed me to buy all of these JPEGs on the internet because it's goofy."
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He's swinging it around, bro. He's swanging around. So do we feel pretty confident that whatever these things are is directly like other side 100% related?
I wouldn't. I mean,
wouldn't
I
say
feel like that's the safe bet.
100%, but like most likely.
We're going above 80%.
I'd probably
Or
80,
about
20,
70.
30,
Yeah.
75, 25.
Because like if it wasn't, then what could it even be? You know what I mean? Like, is it like if it's
I'm
not?
like, what if that power source is for the goblins that they talked about in their way super old year and a half old?
The mecha apes. So like, what the hell is that? Like powering up a mecha suit, bro. Like, I don't know.
It all ties into 10KTFs.
I don't
So
know.
like, shit, who knows, right? We really don't know, but all I know is I'm along for the ride. I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yes, agreed. Agreed.
Personal
I think-
strategy. I'm not spending any boost until I like understand.
Yeah.
the mix.
That's financial advice for all you listening.
Yeah.
Practice for a
Understand
bit, for
game
God's
mechanics.
sake.
And then start buying boost.
Yeah, that is financial
no.
advice. Practice. Come on.
Practice. Yeah.
Practice a little bit at least, and then rip that ape. Just go ahead and rib it.
Yeah. Only
Really?
buy boost on the last day. That's yep.
There you go.
Well,
Do you
let me-
think
The last day,
it was a joke?
do you boys think games 2, 3 will be played?
That's a
in
great question.
I
That
want
is a
an
great
Otherside
question,
game.
I
dude.
would love another side game, but I doubt it.
Man, I thought this first one was gonna be, to be on. I'm talking when like a while ago, I thought for sure this shit was gonna be another side.
Well, yeah, we were kind of talking about it. We were like
Yeah.
interactive mint, like skill-based
Yes,
mint. What if we
dude.
actually have to like all run through other side and stuff?
I mean, that would be a dope experience.
Dude,
but
I think
like,
they are gonna have. No, let's think about this though.
They will
'Cause
later, but
he's asking for two, like the second and third game. I think there's a chance that could be on the other side.
well, so I guess that begs the question: when do we think second and third game? Is that going to be
Ooh,
another 6
man.
months, another year, or is it
No,
going to be the second,
sooner
third
than-
game ready to go in like a month or two? 'Cause if the
Dude,
second,
there's
third
no
game
way
are
it's a
happening-
year. There's no fucking way
if
it's
second
another
and
year.
third game happened before Q3 of this year, then I think there's no way it's on other side. I feel like other side has to be an always on stage before they can be like, all right, we're gonna have this game here.
I could see that.
If not, I just don't think it like it just does. It seems unfair to other side holders that aren't
Oh,
participating in
Dude,
everything.
I'm
else.
gonna be really honest with you. You saying
I mean,
that
I don't give a
makes
shit
my
about
skin
it.
crawl a little, because I had some conversations with people that have other side only, and I love those people. There's no hate here, but I was like, come on, like,
Bruh, buy a sewer
Can-
pass.
it's not even that. It's just like, can we just like stop, please? I'm gonna say
No,
something
okay,
fucking
so-
mean.
No, but for real, let's
Well, bully
talk about
you.
this for a second. Let's talk about this for a second.
All right.
All of the threads we see flying around Twitter right now talk about how this is connected to that, and this makes my
Dude, bro.
Mutant hounds.
and you're like,
Mutant hounds and all of it. Applied
Indeed.
primates.
and
coming
like
right
this is
tonight.
essentially the gateway into 10KTF, and you're like, what the? This is no Bored Ape is in the Bored Ape lane right now. Other
Yeah.
side is in the other side lane right now.
Yes.
They're not crossing it as much as like we even make the
Well,
speculation. Hey, we're
yeah.
gonna have the game
Yeah.
interact and play on
Yeah.
other. Like it sounds amazing. Like
Yeah.
that is the dream.
Well, that's end goal, right?
It
Is
is,
when we
yeah,
can
for sure.
Get on
But
other
it's
side and play a
Not
bunch.
today.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's not going to happen.
I mean, think
So,
about it. Think
I don't
about it.
think 2 and 3.
Think
Yeah.
about it. Imagine.
What imagine?
Dude,
What
I'm
am I
imagining, bro. I'm there.
Imagine the mint experience for claiming the sewer pass. Imagine you had to like do that in other side to mint.
That would have been freaking
And you
awesome.
could have everybody who doesn't have one, but like wants to watch the chaos of like people
Bum
sprinting
rushing,
to go to
bro.
the mint button or some shit like that. Click mint and then whatever. I don't know.
Dude,
Now,
I
imagine
think
how
it's
cool this would
amazing.
be, right? Is you can link your deed to your ape or mutant or whatever,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, when you log into other side today, you have a little sewer pass laying on the ground for you to go and pick up.
You're like, oh shit,
Mm,
It
look
was
what I just found.
basically airdrop, dropped out of the air and landed on your
Wow.
land,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, there's my tier 4 pass. with
Taking
my
airdrops
tier
to
4
another
logo.
level, 2023.
Hey, what if we get around this whole
Yo,
like
Gordon, hire me. Sorry.
airdrops, technically taxable, taxable income,
Yeah, that's one.
not gains. So imagine, right? Because you had to go explore your land,
Hmm.
Bro, I
You had
worked
to-
for that.
go find it.
Yeah.
You
Fun,
put in
right?
work for that.
Dude, yeah.
Hey, hit it behind one of my resources, bro.
Bro, I had to
I don't know
mint.
what you talk about, man.
How about this thing I had to mint today? That was a lot of work. Claim it.
I lifted my finger and pushed
Bro.
the stupid.
I
Come
refreshed the
on.
page for an hour and 45 minutes yesterday. That's got to count for something.
Pat on the back, bro. Pat on the back. Yeah, I think that's a good point, though, Will. We probably are getting a little ahead, me more so than most, specifically with like things taking place on the other side before we have some more trips. Now, I am not the person putting out the thread that's connecting all these other bullshit ass things that like I shouldn't say that. That sounds mean. These other projects that are still valuable, and I'm glad people are in them, but like we can't just connect like 73 dots and be like, and this is why they did it, because they want to be connected to this other thing. It's like, no, dog.
And
Yuga is
basically,
literally
Yuga's gonna buy them out in 2 months.
literally like Yuga is the North fucking Star, dude. Like they are going to do what they want to do, and then they're going to include things when they want to include them, and it'll be very select, very select.
Indeed.
It's interesting though, right? Because it is kind of like this is like the first mint back for Yuga in terms of like since the bull market. And so
Yeah.
like now that we're like, oh, we're kind of hungover from other side, shit's still down bad. Everybody's just kind of walking around like a zombie. It's interesting though that like it wasn't like they came out and they like tried to swing for the fences again. Like, or maybe they are. Shit, I don't know. But
that's the thing, dude, though, because okay, I'm gonna go back to what Bryce always brings up. We're not doing low effort shit anymore. Like, bro, is this
so
really just gonna be
quality
is this
of
really
that?
gonna be just some little fucking artifact I can kick off my goddamn land? Come on.
Okay, but if we're talking about low effort shit, do we like the graphics from what we've seen for that game preview?
The graphics don't need to be good,
but it looked
it's a mini game. Like, what the fuck am I? I'm not looking for fucking other side. It's
yeah,
a
I know,
shitty
but I mean,
little game that's
the other side like teasers, and they're just so pretty.
But dude, you gotta think about
kind
it,
of
bro.
dull in color. I mean, I know we're going in the sewer.
My brother in Christ, look at the animation style too. We talked about this before. Bored Ape, and you just said it a second ago. Bored Ape has their lane, other side has their lane. Sometimes they intersect, but they have their own lane. So when you talk about animation style, whatever, I think they're going for a specific style.
I mean, but okay, so
it's very similar to the mobile game style where it's just kind of like old school.
And I think that's what they want. They want an arcade style. Like that's
no,
I think that's really what they want.
I'm saying like, okay, I get that.
Also, the big thing with arcade style games, sorry to cut you off, Will, but the big thing with arcade style games is that they're easy, right? They're easy to learn and play.
Yep.
Right. And like they're only having this game for 3 weeks. They only had the mobile game for a week. It needs to be easy. You can't have one of these big like MMO RPGs like World of Warcraft that you can only play for a week where you need like months to learn what the fuck you're doing.
Right.
Look, okay, that's not my point. That's not my point, though.
But yeah, you're talking about style.
I'm thinking like colorization, like stylization. Like, look at the colors they use here. It's nice and bright, soft, fuzzies and whatever, and blah 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 blah. Very neon, poppy colors, blah 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 blah. And then I don't know why, I just feel like this is dull. Like the coloring is dull in here.
I mean, that green's pretty poppy.
What the hell are you smoking, bro?
I don't know. I just look at it and I'm like, is this the right color? Like, is there a filter on this thing? Am I just thinking about it wrong? I don't know.
You're fired, bro.
This is also like a 6-second fucking clip. Like, how do you know?
That video makes me think this game's gonna be so hard.
Yeah, dude, I know. That's why I'm gonna fucking die for like 4 seconds, bro. I'm gonna go right into the fan, dude.
Yeah, goodness.
Oh,
ChatGPT,
make me a script that will play this game for me.
Hey,
for the next 3 weeks, bro.
Hey, make me a script, you. Cheat. Can I cheat? I'd really like to. Nah, fam.
There you go.
Noob.
Cheated, hired somebody to play for
me. You're canceled.
I know. Why is that like? You know what I mean? Like, isn't that kind of cheating too? Like you just pays them like
hiring somebody else to play for you, like that defeats the whole purpose.
Whatever. It's
do we really think Cara Bear or whatever her name is grinded out the mutant?
Dude, come on. Stop. Also, can we talk about the puzzle that some literal professional puzzle dudes like bought a freaking ape to then win the fucking thing?
Like wow, so fun. I love being part of this club. I do. I really do. I really do.
Oh, here we go. My dog.
Very well said. I agree.
There we go. It's all about the story, my brother.
It's all the lore, and then all of a sudden, this is like the old school, like how apes became to be, and then we like find codas, and that's where the animation is present day and really badass.
But like the one thing I realized is like, obviously, I didn't know the story of BAYC because it hasn't been released yet.
Shit. Whoa.
It's true.
I mean, obviously, bits and pieces of it here and there, and you see glimpses of it and whatever. But like when they start going through and they say like, "Oh yeah, we were at this bar or we were at this clubhouse party, and then Jimmy had the key stuck in his," like that's all like little pieces, like you know that you pick up That,
Yes.
like, they're like literally creating the moments that you would remember. Dude, remember that one time fucking Jimmy had that key stuck in his butthole and then Curtis had to lick it out? I'm done. I'm over. I'm going to bed.
We're getting pretty late here, and I know it's really late where you are, Will.
I don't know what. All right. Well. On that note, you do need a sewer pass to potentially lick. Hope not. Good thing I'll be in last place. Hey, thanks to Paraspace for coming through and talking to us again. Thanks, Braden, for dropping some great questions / some letting us breathe a little easier. Well, specifically Will about the animation. We're all gonna make it. We're not actually, but I really do love Yuga. I love what they're doing. I can't wait for the second trip here in March, which feels like a long ways from now, but to be honest, shit, we're halfway through January already. We get to play this thing for 3 weeks. That'll keep us grinding. I'm looking forward to the next trailer being released on the storyline potentially. That'd be kind of cool. All these things, I'm excited. And guess what? They talked about it. We talked about it. Their communication. Let's go. We're walking that shit out, dude. It's like every couple of weeks, boom, let's get you with something else. Boom, here it is again. Boom. And that's exactly what they said they're going to do. More communication, still mysterious, but they're letting us know they're alive, which is a positive. Any last thoughts, gents? Sell all your passes. That's what they say.
No last thoughts here. Side note, just found Braden on Twitter. He's an ATP tennis player.
Oh, let's go.
Badass.
Why don't we bring
come to the next Ape Fest, Braden? We have to play tennis. I'm like a 4-5, 5-0 singles, so
Bryce
is hold my own. Not pro by any means, but
he also loves pickleball. So
I do love pickleball. Pickleball's been my shit the last couple months.
Braden, if you want to come talk anytime on Board TV, hit us up. We'd love to have you on talking tennis, pickleball, and buttholes. All right, with that, we appreciate y'all. Hit us on Twitter, follow us on YouTube, Twitch, all the good things. Let us know if you want to come on the show. We actually do have some dope guests lined up over the next month. Super excited. We've been very fortunate to have the guests that we have already, and tonight was no exception, with obviously Paraspace and the whole team coming through. So for Phil, for Will, for Bryce, we love you guys. We're Board TV, and we out.
Peace.